Okay, so I said in the other video that, or on my other channel where I handle more sensitive topics, Damari Nolo Dispatch. I'll actually put a link in the description if you want to check out that page. I said that my next video on this channel was going to be about breaking cycles of violence, or just breaking cycles in general. It is incredibly difficult to do, but you are fully capable. A fantastic example of cycles of violence are, the generational curse. Your great grandpa was a drunk and a spousal abuser. He raises his kid in a household that is full of drugs and violence. That kid, like 90% chance, is going to grow up into an abusive alcoholic or an abusive drug user, because it isn't just alcohol. Alcohol is just the most common. And then it just keeps going along the line until it gets to you. And now you have a choice. You're either going to become an abusive drug addict, or you're going to break the cycle. And I know that's a lot easier said than done. So let me give an example of how I did this, how this pertained to my life. And this is a difficult story. So actually, trigger warnings are in order. If you're sensitive to certain kinds of content, I wouldn't watch this video any further. But when I was in second grade, we got a new principal at my school, and on pretty much a daily basis, obviously with the exception of summer vacation, Christmas break, spring break, things like that, on pretty much a daily basis from the time he showed up in second grade until I left that school in sixth grade, this guy molested and or raped me on a daily basis. And that's another cycle of violence. I figured that out over time. That's another cycle of violence. Based off of power struggles, obviously the easiest person to prey on is a child. If you're trying to exert power over someone, takes a lot of gall to assault someone like Terry Crews. I'm not diminishing that at all. That dude was a piece of crap. I'm just saying, if you're nuts if you're going to molest someone who is that much stronger than you. But yeah, anyway, children are obviously the chosen prey of people who are in power struggles. That's why adults like to beat children too, which he did. Don't worry about that. He did that too. He beat me on a pretty regular basis. I had no way really to explain what was happening because I was on spectrum. Couldn't really compute what was happening to me. At least not enough to explain to any adults around me what was happening to me. So, neurodivergent kid. Obviously, your first target. And unfortunately, and this is something that I've had to come to terms with afterward, is that someone probably did it to him too. Because it's a cycle of violence. Someone probably did it to him too. He was probably molested and raped as a child too. And the person who molested and raped him was probably molested and raped as a child too. And I've actually heard that as an excuse in certain civil rights circles, if you want to call them that, as an argument for why we need to be more tolerant of pedophilia and pedosexuality. But I'm here to tell you that just because you went through it does not mean you have to do it when you become an adult. And it surely is not an excuse for doing it when you become an adult. Because every person has the ability to change themselves, to stand up to their trauma, to say, I will not be another in this line. I am ending this with me. You can choose. If you came from an abusive, drug-infested household, you can choose peace and sobriety. You can do that. If you were molested as a child, you can say, I will not do this thing to other people that has hurt me so deeply. It's all a matter of how much you're willing to interact with your shadow, to come to terms with it. Because it's the survivor, man. Your shadow is your animal. We'll go into all of that in a different video. But your shadow is its own entity. It's what tries to keep you alive. And when your shadow goes through that trauma, your shadow doesn't know what to do with it. And that's how cycles of violence perpetuate, is that survivors don't know how to deal with the fact that they survived, or how to go forward outside of that circle of trauma. But you're absolutely capable. So if you're interested in more information on how to break cycles, there's one of two ways. Either you can go ahead and start looking into Jung, Jung, fantastic psychologist and philosopher, who laid the groundwork for my understanding of shadow work. But at the same time, I've learned even further beyond what I learned from Jung. And yeah, if you want me to make another video about this, then just mention it down in the comments. But as far as what I'm trying to say in this video is that just because you survived a cycle of violence does not necessitate that you keep it going. And there may be a voice in your head that tells you, it's okay, it's fine, we went through it, we came out all right. You did not come out all right. You did not come out all right if you were having that conversation in your head. But you are absolutely capable of becoming the louder voice in that conversation and telling it, no. No excuses. I'm not doing this. We're going to get better. Anyway, I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. And I hope that Monday treats you well. And until we see each other again, be notorious.